Hello everyone. Today we will start with chapter number 1, that is two big states. Now as you can see, the name is two big states. So here I have drawn the Indian map. Now here this whole India was divided into two parts at this time. Now as you can see, till Narmada river, this part is the north part, and from here this part is the south part. Now according to these, we are dividing these two parts. Now at this time, whosoever was the ruler, they were ruling according to their areas. Few of them ruled on the north side of India and few of them ruled on the south side of India. One by one we will move to each and every ruler. Let us start from the ruler Prabhakar Vardhan. This person was the father of 3 children. As you can see, I have drawn the family tree of this person. So let us see that who were the 3 children. First one was Rajyavardhan, his elder son. Second one was Rajyashri, his sister. And third one was Harshvardhan, that is the younger brother of Rajyavardhan. Now, as he was the ruler, he was the father, so he will be the ruler. But after his death, always the elder son becomes the next king. So the Rajyavardhan became the next king. Now after this, he was ruling smoothly, he was very kind, he was loyal to each and everyone. Side by side, Rajyashri got married and Harshvardhan was there helping with Rajyavardhan. Now here is the point that I have written. The Prabhakar Vardhan, the father, was the king of Thaneshwar. Thaneshwar is denoted in this map over here. So this part was ruled by Prabhakar Vardhan, and today this Thaneshwar kingdom is called as, from Punjab to Haryana, the area which is covered between these two states is called as Thaneshwar. As Prabhakar Vardhan was ruling on Thaneshwar, so obviously after his death, Rajyavardhan was also ruling in Thaneshwar. Now Rajyavardhan was having the kingdom in his hand. He was ruling properly, but suddenly what happened? There was a ruler of Godh. Here I have mentioned in the map, here was the Godh in North India. Now there was a ruler called Shashank. He tried to control the kingdom of Rajyavardhan, that was Thaneshwar. Now as he tried, suddenly what happened? He killed Rajyavardhan. Rajyashri got married. Now, as you can see Kamrup. Kamrup at present is called as Assam. Now as he has taken his help with his army, with Bhaskar Varman plus the army of Harshvardhan and Harshvardhan, all of them together tried to kill Shashank, and all of them killed, and side by side Harshvardhan has taken the kingdom of God also under his control. So now what was there? Thaneshwar was under his control, God was under his control. Now there are two kingdoms which came under his control. Now in the story let us move ahead. As Rajyashri's husband was killed by Devgupta, so now Harshvardhan will move to the kingdom of Devgupta to kill him and control his state also. So as he was moving, there were few persons who helped him. Now those persons who helped Harshvardhan were the forest people, as I have written, Harshvardhan taken forest people and Divakar Mitra. Now the forest people were helping Harshvardhan, and there was a person called Divakar Mitra. They both helped Harshvardhan, and where they helped to control the kingdom of Devgupta, that was in Malwa. Now when they were moving to Malwa, at that time what happened? Side by side Rajyashri escaped from the kingdom of Devgupta in the Vindhya forest. Vindhya forest were near the Malwa area. So she moved from the prison and moved into the Vindhya forest. Why she moved into the forest? She wanted to perform sati. And what is sati? Sati is a practice in which the widow women were tried by the village people. They tried to tell widow woman to sit on the fire where her husband is getting fired. So at that time, whenever the husband is burned, on that burning fire, the lady is told to sit on the same fire. That is called sati. And the same thing Rajyashri was trying to do in the Vindhya forest. But as I have told you that Harshvardhan and the forest people of Vindhya forest plus Divakar Mitra, they all tried to stop Rajyashri from performing this sati practice. Now, who was Divakar Mitra? Divakar Mitra was the Buddhist hermit. And who is called a hermit? Hermit is a person who has stopped each and everything, and he has moved into a forest after leaving all the things of his life. Means the persons who has left their kingdom, their area, their home, their family, and they moved into any kind of forest, those persons are called as hermit. So this Divakar Mitra was the hermit of Buddhism. That's why he was called as Buddhist hermit. So forest people, Divakar Mitra and Harshvardhan, they stopped Rajyashri from performing sati practice. Side by side, now Harshvardhan has to stop or has to kill Devgupta also. So after stopping Rajyashri, they moved to the kingdom of Devgupta, that is Malwa, and over there Harshvardhan, forest people and Divakar Mitra, they killed the king of Malwa, that is Devgupta, and controlled Malwa also. So now Harshvardhan has 3 big areas under his control, that is Thaneshwar, Malwa and Godh. Now let us move to the next point. Harshvardhan controlled Swarashtra. Now what happened? Now he has taken the revenge from all the persons who has killed his family members. Now side by side, as he was moving in his kingdom, so he tried to control many areas in the North India. So he has controlled Swarashtra also. So now many of the areas were controlled by Harshvardhan. That's why the last point is, after 7 successive years, Thaneshwar became famous. Means within 7 years, Harshvardhan has the success in all these 7 years. So after these successive 7 years, he has became famous. Means the Thaneshwar kingdom of Harshvardhan became famous because most of the areas in the North India were controlled by Harshvardhan. Now he was moving towards the south. As you can see from Thaneshwar, he moved to Malwa, he moved to Gaud, he moved to Magad, he moved to Swarashtra. He has taken Kannauj also within near the Thaneshwar. Now he was moving over here. As here you can see, I have drawn river Narmada. Now why is that so? Here he was moving till Narmada, and this portion after Narmada was under the other kings control, and whenever he tried to control the areas after the Narmada river, he was not able to do so because there were other kings who were ruling in these areas. Now we will start with the areas of South India and who were ruling under this. Let us move to the first king, that was Pulkeshi II. Now I was telling you that Pulkeshi II was the ruler of South India, this part. So this we will do afterwards. Before doing this South India part, Pulkeshi II's kingdom, let us move to the region and administration of Harshvardhan. Now Reen means the administrative part, means the office part, the ruling area. Now that area, that full day of Harshvardhan was divided into 3 parts. As you can see, I have shown administration was the first part, second part was public welfare, and third part was the religion. His full day journey is divided into these 3 parts. Let us see. First, the administration, means in this part, in the first area, he does all the office work, and he is not doing, the other persons who are there under him are doing, but he personally checks each and every one. The second area is the public welfare. He go to each and every person in the whole kingdom, ask them the problems, then he sees each and every person who is working under him whether they are helping the public or not. Then the third area is religion. Now he sees each and every temple personally, he checks each and everything, whether the food is provided, whether each and every area is clean or not. If they have to do any kind of meeting related to the religion, they do that in this area, in this part of the day. If they have to make any temple, the Harshvardhan has to give any amount of money for making the temple, they see that in this area. So in the full day he does 3 things per day, and in doing all these things sometimes he forget to take his meal also, to take his food also, because he is very busy in doing all these things. He was a very kind-hearted person. He helps everyone in each and everything personally. He never thinks that he is a king. Now as you can see, I have written few points. Now let us discuss those points. First one is administration. In this administration part, now there are few persons who are working under this department, obviously. Now those persons I have written. First one is commander. Today also we have commander in chief, means the army commander, the head of the commander, the army. Now the second is Pratihara. What was the Pratihara? The Dwarpal, means the watchman, the guard. So that person is also working under Harshvardhan. Third person was Sandhi Vigrahaka. The name of the person in English was foreign minister. The post that he was having was the minister of the foreign countries. Today also we have them. Then we have Rajdut. These names, the post names were there at the olden times. Now today we have all these English names. Now the Rajdut was called as ambassador. In today's time we call him as ambassador. Ambassador is also the person who is working under the foreign ministry areas. Then we have par rajya mantri. Par rajya means for each and every rajya, for each and every state there is a mantri, ruler. So that are also under Harshvardhan. Then we have Mahadandanayaka, means the chief justice officer. This chief justice officer is there in the court, and same is with this Harshvardhan also. Mahadandanayak was also at the time of Harshvardhan's court. Same is with Akshar Patalika, that is registrar. Today we have registrar in the court. At that time the post name was Akshar Patalika. In Harshvardhan court there was the registrar. The work of registrar was to write each and everything in the register. Let us move to the next point, that is he built many things. As I have told you, he was very kind. So he built many things or places like rest houses, the areas where people can rest. And who will rest in these rest houses? The people who are coming from outside areas, outside states or outside countries over here. So the rest houses were built. Then we have wells, tube wells, step wells, etc. for drinking water. Then we have mathas. Mathas here means the mutts, like you have for your own temples, small temples, etc. And he prohibited animal slaughter. Now what is animal slaughter? Animal slaughter means the killing of animals. So he prohibited. Why this prohibited word is written? Prohibited means banned. So at that time we don't have any kind of government. The rulers were only working, but then also he tried to control this animal slaughtering. Then the next point is he takes meetings at Prayag. There was a religious place called Prayag. Today we have the name as Uttarakhand. It's in Uttarakhand. So this place, at this place Harshvardhan was doing different kinds of meetings related to his religion. Anything, whatever he has to suggest to the people, he suggests over Prayag. And when he does that, he does it after every 5 years. After each and every 5 years he does these kind of meetings, and over there after doing the meeting he do donations also. What kind of donations? Whatever he has at that time, either gold coins, silver coins, or his jewelry, whatever he was wearing, he used to give it to the poor people near the Prayag. Now there were few books written by a writer and a poet that was working in Harshvardhan's kingdom. That was, the name was Ban Bhat. There were always few poets or writers in each and every kingdom. Why? Because they can write on the kings, and they can write books, they can write poems. So each and everyone outside the palace, outside the country, outside the state can know about the king. So same is with Harshvardhan, a poet or a writer called Ban Bhat. He has written different books. First book was Harshcharit, second Kadambari, and third was Harsha Charitra. Now these few books were written on the life of women, on the life of local people, and the one book, that is Harsha Charitra, that was written on Harshvardhan's life, means how he has taken, how he has controlled all the areas in North India, how he was performing in the kingdom, what kind of people were there in the kingdom, how his nature was, etc. Now let us move to the books which were written by Harshvardhan. The books were Naganand, Ratnavali and Priya Darshika. Now again all three books that were written by Harshvardhan, they are again based on the life of women, few things related to the families, then the life of local people. Then let us move to now the next point, that is Nalanda University. Now at that time, as you can know, that there were less education provided to the people. Why? Because they were not having money. That's why this big university was opened by a person called Kumar Gupta. He was from the Gupta Empire, Gupta dynasty. Now this person has built this university. This was the second world largest university at that time, and this was there in Magad, and today we call this Magad as Bihar. As you can see here, I have written Magad. So here in the North India, it was opened by Kumar Gupta. Now this university was having many books related to different subjects like psychology, philosophy, economics, geography, Sanskrit. Then we have Buddhism language, Buddhism teachings, then Jainism also, Hinduism also. There were books related to these cultures also. Then the next point that I have written is Harshvardhan helped Acharya Shilbhadra. Now who was Acharya Shilbhadra? Acharya Shilbhadra was the professor as it is written as Acharya. So he was the professor working in this university. A bigger professor means the famous one. He was having more knowledge. Now this person was held by Harshvardhan. Why? Harshvardhan was helping him to expand the university. If he want, Shilbhadra Acharya want books or he want more food or anything related to the university, Harshvardhan was trying to help him. The next point is Acharya Nagarjun was famous. Now this person, again a second Acharya working in the university, this Acharya was famous because of one of his invention. This Acharya was making different kind of medicines or different kind of inventions he was doing, like as I have written iron, mercury and arsenic. Arsenic is one kind of metal like silver. Now these three metals, iron, mercury and arsenic, he has made the powder of them and then he has made a kind of medicine from these three metals. So again he was a famous professor, science professor of this university. Now the next point, there were near about 10,000 students every year who gets admitted into this university. There were 2,000 or more than 2,000 teachers who were there for these students, and there were 90 lakhs or more than 90 lakhs books which were there in this university. These books were there in the 4 libraries. The libraries, there was a building, there were 4 stories in the building. In these 4 stories, there were different libraries for different subjects books. Each and every floor have different subjects. Then let us move to the next point. Free education was provided in the university. And how free education? Because there were entrance exams in the university for each and every one, and this entrance exam was very tough. That's why the person who gets admitted after giving this tough entrance exam, they obviously will get free education. And why this free education is provided? Because few of them are not able to have sufficient amount of money, they are not able to pay the fees. That's why they have free education. The second point is the Harshvardhan, who is helping this university, he helped with the money for implementing education, for giving education. That's why this university can give or was giving free education at that time. Now the next point is, now what happened to that university? At that time this university was there, but at present this university is not there. Why? Because at that time a Muslim ruler destroyed this university because of jealousy. Because there at that time this university was very famous, and this university was having different kind of medicines, scientific medicines, different kind of Sanskrit language, different kind of other languages were there, and this university was very famous in India. That's why this Muslim ruler, because of jealousy that we will expand more or we will move forward to the other countries, India will move forward in many things, in many subjects. That's why this Muslim ruler has tried to stop each and everything, tried to stop giving education. And how he tried? He put the fire on this university, and this university was burning for 6 months. And slowly, if you will see, slowly the rocks get burned, then these books that were there all get burned. There are nothing remaining in this university. Now there is one university nearby that area, far away from this area, which is opened now. in 2014 the government has opened this university by the name of Nalanda University, but that university is far away from this one. This is already destroyed. Now this is open for the visitors, for the tourists. Now at the time of Harshvardhan, the diet of the people, means the people what they were eating. The diet of the people was the milk, they were drinking milk, they were eating milk products, then wheat, rice, fruits, vegetables, etc. Means the diet of the people was very simple. Same is with the clothes also. They were wearing simple clothes, like the men were wearing white dhotis, kurta, and the women were wearing saris. Same is with ornaments. Ornaments they were wearing of flowers. Then different kinds of games were famous, as at the time of Mahabharata the dice games were famous. So same is at that time also the famous games were dice and chess. Now let us move to the next part, that is occupation. What the people were doing at that time. The people were doing farming. So they were giving revenue, that is tax. At that time the farmers were giving revenue of 1/6 of the total production. Whatever they were producing, on that they were giving 1/6 of the rupees. Then animal husbandry, they were feeding the cattle and different animals. So that is called animal husbandry. Then again, Harshvardhan's time has seen the trade system also. It was started at that time. Harshvardhan has started different national and international trade systems. The trade was for the national and international one. That's why he has made a highway that is from Magadh to Kutch. Now if we will see in this map, then this Magadh today that is called as Patna. So this Magadh from here till Kutch, Gujarat. So he has made a highway so that they can do the trade from this state to Patna state. Now the next point, because of this trade there were relationships that are made with the Rome, and because of this relation the goods came into India. Different kinds of new goods came from other countries to India, plus the gold also came because of the trade, and that's why India was becoming slowly it was becoming a rich country. Now the next point, that is religion. Which kind of religion were famous at the time of Harshvardhan? The religions were Hinduism, Buddhism and Jainism. The Buddhism was the most preferable one from the Harshvardhan side, but these three were accepted in the society. Now let us move to the another topic, that is Yun Sang. Now who was that? He was the traveler. He was just a traveler. He traveled from Afghanistan to India. And why he came to India? Because when he was there in China, he was a Chinese person. He was there in China. When he was studying at that time, he came to know that there was a religion called Buddhism, and which was invented in India. So he wanted to learn this religion. The originating place was India. That's why for learning this religion, he came from China to Afghanistan, and then he came to India. In India when he came, so Harshvardhan was busy somewhere, and that's why he moved to Assam. At that time he was there with Bhaskar Varman, who was the king. Now afterwards, when Harshvardhan came to know that he is there in India, this famous person is, this famous traveler is there in India, Harshvardhan called him, and at the same time this person was invited at the 6th meeting, which was invited by Harshvardhan at Prayag, which was the religious place. So that religious place was having a meeting related to religion. That's why he attended 6th meeting at Prayag. Now afterwards he moved to Harshvardhan's kingdom. He has seen how Harshvardhan is looking after his kingdom. So he was very impressed. Now side by side he joined Nalanda University. Nalanda, the famous university, because the Buddhism was famous in that university. There were different books, there were different acharyas who were teaching. That's why he moved to that university. He studied over there for 5 years, and after studying for 5 years he came out of the university. He traveled everywhere in India, like in the Harshvardhan's kingdom, in Assam, and in every part of India, to know about the culture of India, to know about more about Buddhism language, to know more about its religion, books, statues, etc. Then after doing this traveling for 10 years, means for 5 years he was there in the university. After that he was traveling for another 10 years in India. After doing that traveling, he moved again to China. But this movement to China was not only for Hyun Sang. He has taken different things from India, like he has taken books, he has taken statues, he has taken many other things related to Buddhism. Why he has taken this? Because he wanted to expand this Buddhism religion, this Buddhism culture in China also. That's why he has taken different things from India to China to open different schools and colleges related to Buddhism. Over there in China, he has taught Buddhism in schools and colleges by himself also. After that he has taken many teachers, many professors, and they were doing education of Buddhism in these schools and universities. So total for 15 years he was there in India. Now let us move to the Pulkeshi II kingdom. Now before starting Pulkeshi II, we have to start with the family tree of Pulkeshi II. That is, the father was Pulkeshi I. So that father, the Pulkeshi I, was ruling on the area that was called as Badami, and afterwards the name was Vatapi. Here I have shown in the map, here we have Vatapi and here we have Badami. Now when the father was ruling, it was there as Badami, and afterwards when it came to Pulkeshi II, the whole Vatapi and Badami was under the control of his kingdom. Now let us see, after Pulkeshi I, when the Pulkeshi I, the father was died, same is like Harshvardhan, this person also was having his younger brother and elder brother. There were two brothers, there were two sons of Pulkeshi I, and as the rule says, after the father gets died, so his elder son becomes the next king. So here the Manglesh was the elder son, so he got the kingdom under his control. Now when Manglesh was there, so Manglesh has lost the war with Kirti Varma. Why they both were doing the war? They both were doing the war because Manglesh was having the kingdom and Kirti Varma was jealous of him, so that's why he has done war with Manglesh. But Manglesh lost the war. Before getting the war lost, before this Manglesh has built a famous Vishnu temple in the state of Badami. Now after the Manglesh got the war, lost the war, so this kingdom was ruled by Kirti Varma. Obviously he lost the war, so the ruler was Kirti Varma after that. After the death of Kirti Varma, Pulkeshi II, his son, got the kingdom. Kirti Varma was the father of Pulkeshi II. So he has got the kingdom, and for 30 years he ruled in the kingdom, near about 32 we can say, that is 610 CE to 642 CE. So Pulkeshi II ruled from this to this year. Now let us come to different points. Pulkeshi I performed Ashwamedha Yagna. When Pulkeshi I was the king, at that time he performed Ashwamedha Yagna. Now what is that? As the name says, Ashwamedha means, Ashwa means the horse. So at that time, the different kings, the kings who were very strong, those kings used to perform this yagna. What happens is, this yagna is, the horse was sat down and the religious persons were sitting before him, and all of them were doing different kind of religious rituals with the horse. And after doing the rituals, the horse got free to roam here and there in the kingdom and outside the kingdom. Wherever the horse goes outside the kingdom, the area that he roams, over that the king get the control in those areas. For example, if the horse is in Vatapi right now, if we move to another area, that is Badami, so the area, the Pulkeshi II or any other king will control Badami area also, because his horse went at that area. Now, because of this, if any other king is not giving that area, suppose here Badami is not given by the king to this Vatapi king, so again the Vatapi king will first fight with this Badami king, and he has to control Badami area. Now, let us move to the next point. The flag means the Pulkeshi I's kingdom's flag was denoting this symbol, that is Vara avatar. Now, what was that avatar? Avatar means the symbol, and Vara means Vishnu. So this was the symbol of Vishnu. At the time of Mahabharata, Vishnuji has taken one kind of avatar, that is Vara avatar. In this avatar, the Vishnu was having the face of the pig. And why he has taken this avatar? So that he can save the earth. If you will see the picture, in that picture, Vishnuji is having the face of a pig, and on that mouth of the pig, he has taken the earth. Now, let's see the next point, that is Manglesh lost the war by Kirti Varma and built Vishnu temple. This I have already told you. Then Pulkeshi II controlled. Now, when the Pulkeshi II became the king, at that time he controlled Lat, means this area, the south of Gujarat. Then he moved to Gurjar, that is the north of Gujarat. Then he moved from Kaveri river to Godavari river, and he controlled all these areas in between. That's why the Badami also came in, the Ajanta and different other areas also came in his control. Then Andhra Pradesh is also in south side, so he controlled that area also. Now, from Vatapi to the river Kaveri and to river Narmada, he has controlled all the areas. And because of his control, because he used to love different kinds of art and architecture, and that's why he has made different caves. That is, in the area of Ajanta, he has made Ajanta caves. These were very famous. Today also they are famous for tourist places. Then there are caves in Dharapuri, area of Dharapuri and area of Vatapi. Now let us move to the last point, that is Hyun Sang visited the kingdom. Like Hyun Sang visited Harshvardhan's kingdom, same is with him also. He has visited Pulkeshi II's kingdom. Again, he was interested in knowing how he was performing his activities. Same like Harshvardhan, Hyun Sang also got attracted, also got fascinated by the region of Pulkeshi II. Dear students, as we had done all the things in this chapter, the name was two big states. So already we have discussed the two big states that were, the first was Thaneshwar, that is Kannauj, and the second was Vatapi, that was Badami. Then two rulers we had done, first was Harshvardhan and second was Pulkeshi II. So all these things are covered in the chapter. That's all for this chapter.